A number of people have expressed to me that they are still a little confused on how the word agnosticism is used in academia and in the philosophical literature. This short video, based upon my blog post, Agnosticism 3 Ways, I hope will better explain to people the polysemous usage of the word agnosticism. The word agnosticism has a number of different meanings in philosophy, and I will try to briefly explain a few of them from the most broadest interpretation to the most narrowest and the most common and understood usages. First, agnosticism in the most broadest sense was Thomas Henry Huxley's view of a normative epistemic principle or method similar to evidentialism or even logical positivism, which was one should not believe anything that cannot be validated, observed, learned by experiment, or proportionally determined to be true or false. Or, according to Huxley, that one has no justification to claim knowledge, or even claim belief, that God or gods do not exist. This is more of a historic and archaic meaning of the word, as now in modernity we have a well-established scientific method making any epistemic normative principle somewhat obsolete. Another view, and what one would often find in a common dictionary, is agnosticism, as an epistemological proposition. That is, the proposition of if the existence of God or gods is knowable or unknowable. This is sometimes referred to as weak or soft agnosticism, or strong or hard agnosticism. However, the modern usage of the word agnosticism is merely the belief that one is not justified to assign a truth value of true or false to P, where P is at least one God exists, which is theism. In this usage, the person has attempted to evaluate the proposition, but believes they do not have sufficient justification to say P is true or that P is false, and they are therefore suspending judgment on the proposition. In this context, it is the psychological state, as opposed to the normative epistemic principle or epistemological proposition, of being agnostic on the proposition, or someone who tried to evaluate the proposition but does not believe the proposition to be true, nor believes the proposition to be false. This is a second-order belief position, or a belief about a belief. And as Dr. Alex Malpass once said, the agnostic believes that they have insufficient evidence to come to a conclusion whether there is a God or not, so they suspend judgment about that question. They lack a belief about P, but they possess a belief about whether they lack a belief about P, and maybe also about whether it is knowable at all, etc. So it is a belief position, but it is what philosophers would call a second-order belief, a belief about a belief. Until atheist activists stop telling people basal information that agnosticism deals only with knowledge, there will always be a massive amount of confusion on this topic. My suggestion is to simply, for the time being, maybe some should take a more heuristic approach and avoid the topic of knowledge altogether when someone tells them that they are agnostic, as that person is normatively not referring to anything to do with knowledge, but merely expressing their psychological position on the proposition of God existing, as they suspend judgment on the proposition. Quote, "As I shall use the term, one suspends judgment about P when one consciously considers P, but neither believes nor disbelieves P. And, in the popular sense, an agnostic is someone who neither believes or nor disbelieves in God, whereas an atheist disbelieves in God. It is critical here that disbelief is to be understood as affirming negation, or as holding that the proposition is false. As explained prior, an agnostic has a second-order belief position about the belief of God existing, which is that they suspend judgment and neither believes that the proposition God exists, nor believes the proposition God does not exist. This could be referred to as closed under negation, that suspending judgment on P also infers one is suspending judgment on not P as well. If one believes P is false, it is clear that they do not believe P. This is expressed as B not P entails not be P. Or simply, if one believes P is false, they do not believe P is true. This is why merely lacking a belief, as in not be P or I do not believe P, without holding to B not P, believes P is false, would entail one also lacks a belief in the negation of P, or not B not P. So if, as commonly so, it is assumed suspension of judgment is closed under negation, then one lacks a belief P is true without affirming P is false, then they must also rationally hold to not be P, which is clearly the belief, not knowledge, position of agnosticism. I hope this once and for all clears up the ongoing barrage of misinformation from some atheist activists on this particular topic. Thank you for watching.